Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I'm watching to see how well the connection stays today. We have out here at the farm, we have one service to get internet and cable. Actually, that's not true. If we use Starlink, which Starlink is the new answer to all kind of rural internet, but it's a little bit expensive to get started with it. And so I have G-Tech here at the farm, at my house at the farm, and G-Tech. There's something wrong with the radio, my radio here at the property. And they were like, oh yeah, we're going to schedule you for next Monday. And I was like, no, you're not. I run a business out of my farm, and I record podcasts, and I do live streaming videos. And what's the point of having a service? Anyway, you can understand the frustration there in a world where it's like, no, you can't just decide all of a sudden, you can't just decide you can't do your work and make sure your work works. And if you don't have enough technicians, well, then the way that works is that you're not meeting the need of the service, the number of people you're providing service to. So that means you need to either decrease the cost of the service or hire more people, because you need to be able to provide the service that people are paying for. So that's kind of how I feel about that. That being said, what I have to my advantage is, for years I've paid for unlimited space and a hotspot on my AT&T phone, and so I'm using my hotspot, which this is kind of fascinating because I was excited and wanting to talk to you guys today about, in August, I'm actually going to travel to visit Tommy. You guys know Tommy, and Tommy is in this group, and I hope she checks this out in the replays sometimes. But I'm planning to take a van life trip, wanting to get all into the van life community and see how I like that, so I can really do the best of my grounded wanderer impersonation. I'm either grounded on the farm or I'm wandering the world in my SUV. That's kind of a little bit of a vision of the future for me for a minute. So I'm going to be traveling all the way to Michigan and back, sleeping in my SUV. And that being said, I'll need to figure out how to continue to do live streams and upload videos and all of that kind of stuff during those 2 weeks that I'm out of town. And so this is an opportunity to show me how good my hotspot works. And, of course, there's certain places in rural areas that it might not work at all. And I'll have to work with that and see how that all works out. But so many new adventures happening in life, and I'm actually really, really happy about it and enjoying every moment of it. And one of the things that I'm feeling right now is sticking with my routines, because the routines have got me over like these really big humps. The routines got me into a space of wellness when I started in January, feeling really sick, and then switched my diet, switched working on my mental health, my physical health, qigong, all of the things to really basically take another leveling up. What I sometimes find is when things start to level out and you start to feel safe again, you kind of will tend to slack off a little bit. And what I do is I start to go, God, I got this. Thanks for your help, but I got this. Everything's fine. I'm going to take care of this from now on. And that is a recipe for carrying a whole lot of weight that's unnecessary for us to have to carry. And so yesterday, for whatever reason, I've been tired lately in the morning. I think, for one thing, my routine is that I'm staying up significantly later than I had been used to staying up. And I'm still getting up as early as before to get out and take care of things. And especially this time of year when it's hot outside in the mornings, I want to get things done in the morning as early as possible. And then I'm staying out in the evening late till the sun sets, and then I'm cooking dinner after I get done with that. And, whatever, I'm not getting into bed till 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning, which is never good for me. That was never a part of the positive health plan for Aislinn, was staying up till late. So But I had a super busy weekend, harvested rabbits, processed rabbits with my friend Andrew Edelin, a farmer Andrew Edelin. Went to the Rockport Downtown Farmers Market, met lots of amazing people. And then Sunday, of course, went on with my live on Sunday morning and all of the things that I normally do on Sundays. And, of course, figuring out my internet was jacked up on Sunday. I slept in that morning, and I ended up skipping my Course in Miracles day. But I said to myself, because one of the things that I've been waking up the last couple of mornings thinking about is that for years I have woke up and with this sense of dread in the morning, this sense of like, do I really want to live? Do I really want to go out into the day? And what is this feeling? And am I ever going to be able to get over this morning feeling that I feel? And the truth of the matter is that my first thought out of the day is very different than it used to be. It's very much, okay, God, what are we doing today? But it still has this sense of like pressure and dread and fear on my heart. And I started thinking about, what is that about? And then that kind of led me into the morning where I just said, you know what? I'm just going to wake up late, and then I'm going to drink coffee, and I'm just going to stop putting so much pressure on myself. And as I start to think about that, it brings up a lot of tears. I don't know if y'all noticed last week I was just like a bucket full of tears because I'm passing through layers. I can tell that I'm untangling all of the things that were wrapped up in the last decade of my life, and then even before that, all the things that occurred before that that didn't get unraveled, they just got wrapped up in other people's junk and all of the numbing devices and all of the whatever it is that we do to ourselves to get us all wrapped up and then get us tied up into relationships that seem like they're good and then end up being just like disastrous and broken and toxic and painful. And then we have to unwind all that stuff. And each layer that we unwind just is this massive amount of emotion that just is able to come out and be released from us. And so these are some of the things I'm feeling. And what I thought about waking up, what is it that I'm thinking about? And I thought to myself, it's a sense of I'm never going to be able to get enough done today. And when you have a sense of never being able to get enough done, and you have that sense most of your life, and that like the world is telling you you don't do enough, you're not going to get enough done, and your parents, your life is that you just don't do enough, you don't get enough done, and it's really more of a value statement than anything else. What do you value getting done? You know, things like that we learn from. It gives you the sense of daily failure. Daily, I will not be able to get enough done. It's a sense of never being satisfied. Daily failure says to me, okay, let me look at that because I know that's not real. I know that I get a lot done. I know that I get done more than most, although the comparison isn't the part that's going to make that satisfactory. I know that I am able to do plenty, and I also know that I'm not hiding from the things that I feel that are most valuable to get done. And I also recognize that with the study of the Course and a better feeling and understanding about food and mental health and physical health and all of the things, and then looking differently at the world, I'm beginning to recognize that what is enough for the world has nothing to do with what is enough for the who I am, for me, for us, for all that ever was. Because all that ever was, source, God, universe, all that ever was never without. So the idea that you can't do enough is literally impossible. So I've created this egoic sense of goddom, power over God, that I keep saying to God, oh, I'm a failure. I will never be able to get as much done as you expect of me. And God's saying that's literally impossible, because if that was the case, then you would be above me, because we are one, right? And so the thing that makes it most important to me about understanding what's happening now with these types of things coming up in me is I'm only here to be aware of them. I'm not here to feel guilty, to feel shame, to try to even fix the problem. All I'm here to do is to recognize what is that feeling and why might it be coming up and what might it be telling me. And the fact that I actually have a physical feeling inside of me means that I can recognize that there's something there to feel, that there's something, my body is speaking to me, because as we've talked about week after week after week, our body is a communication tool and it's communicating something to us. And for me, it feels like it was like a tensing of the heart. It's like, here I am laying in bed, and what I should be is full of joy for just getting up and getting to be with God in this experience, in this world. But rather what I'm thinking is, I'll never be enough. I'll never have enough. I'll never make enough. I'll never be enough. I'll never work hard enough. I'll never be enough. And what God is teaching me is that is literally impossible. It is impossible for you to not be enough, because I am. And if I am, then so are you. You see? And so that's been a really big eye-opening awareness for me. And what happened was, when I got up that morning, now 2 mornings in a row, I've thought about that. And when I got up, I just said, I'm enough. And whatever I accomplish, good, bad, or indifferent, it's enough. And there are plenty of people in this world who are never going to feel like they're ever going to be enough. And that's our own sense of trying to figure that out. And if someone has decided they're not enough for you, for me, then that's their own concern. Just like mine is my own concern. And while I'm constantly trying to up level because I'm never enough, I may be making someone else feel that way too. And I have experience with that. You know, these are the things that I'm recognizing in my reflection on other people. That if I'm not enough, well, then they're certainly not enough. Okay? And so these are some of the things that these waking moments and time to give myself room to breathe, space. I don't have to do this every single day. I like the routine. I like writing in my journal. I like the study. I like meeting here with you. Even if you're never here ever with me, I'm here with you. And we're here together in that, right? And so taking it one day at a time and giving yourself space to figure out all that is occurring in your life, good, bad, or joyful, right? Okay, so let's go over to today's section. We've been talking about the undoing of fear. And I would say that that's a really good synchronistic explanation of an opportunity to undo the fear. Undo the fear of being alone. Undo the fear of being without. Undo the fear of never having enough. All of these things that God is saying, that is insanity. It's nonsense. You are enough. You are not alone. You have plenty. You'll never be without. All things that the world is going to tell us we are wrong to believe these things. The world is literally built to tell us we are wrong about everything that God tells us we are. And so as we look out at these different things, this is what we're undoing, the undoing of fear. And in this section, it's called the Ark of Safety. God asks for nothing, and his son, his daughter, like him, need ask for nothing. We don't have to even ask for it. For there is no lack in him. We are not without. We are not never going to be enough. None of that's real. An empty space, a little gap, would be a lack. There's none. There's no space between us and God. None. And it is only there that he could want for something he has not. A space where God is not. A gap between the Father and the Son is not the will of either. God never wants to be separate from us. That is our choice. Who have promised to be one. God's promise is a promise to himself, and there is no one who could be untrue to what he wills as a part of what he is. The promise that there is no gap between himself and what he is cannot be false. What will can come between what must be one, and in whose wholeness there can be no gap. The beautiful relationship you have with all your brothers is a part of you because it is a part of God himself. Are you not sick if you deny yourself your wholeness and your health, the source of help, the call to healing, and the call to heal? Your Savior waits for healing, and the world waits with him. Our Savior waits for healing, and the world waits with him. The world can only learn and catch up when we ourselves understand who we are, and that all is well, and that we are one, and that the world has the opportunity to follow us rather than us following the world. And why would the world want to follow us? Because we know our way to God. And how do we know our way to God? Because we are. Because there is no gap. Because we never didn't know our way to God. For healing will be one or not at all, its oneness being where the healing is. What could correct for us? What could correct for separation but its opposite? There is no middle ground in any aspect of salvation. You accept it wholly or accept it not. You cannot not accept wholeness. It is either whole or it is not whole. There is no in between. And what is joined cannot be separated. Either there is a gap between you and your brother, or you are as one. There is no in between, no other choice, and no allegiance to be split between the two. A split allegiance is but faithlessness to both, and merely sets you spinning round to grasp uncertainty at any straws that seem to hold promise of relief. Yet who can build his home upon a straw and count on it as shelter from the wind? The body can be made a home like this, but it lacks foundation in the truth, and yet because it does, it can be seen as not your home, but merely as an aid to help you reach the home where God abides. With this as purpose is the body healed. It is not used to wellness. It is not used to witness to the dream of separation and disease. It is not used to witness to the dream of separation and disease. With this as purpose is the body healed. Nor is it idly blamed for what it did not do. It serves to help the healing of God's Son, and for this purpose it cannot be sick. It will not join a purpose not your own, and you have chosen that it not be sick. All miracles are based upon this choice, and given you in the instant it is made. No forms of sickness are immune, because the choice cannot be made in terms of form. The choice of sickness seems to be of form, yet it is one, as it is its opposite. So you think that these broken times, these sick times, these sad times, these fearful times, these sicknesses will never be able to be healed because they are form. You can see them. They're real, kind of like the table, the chair, the computer, the red hair. All these things are form. So therefore, if sickness exists, then it must be form as well. And yet the truth is that that is literally the opposite of what is actually happening. And are you sick or well accordingly? But never you alone. This world is but the dream that you can be alone and think without affecting those apart from you. I cannot think of anything negative, broken, sick about anyone else unless I'm willing to think about myself that way. So every single thing I think about other people is a thought I'm thinking about myself. To be alone must mean you are apart, and if you are, you cannot but be sick. This seems to prove that you must be apart, yet all it means is that you tried to keep a promise to be true to faithlessness. Yet faithlessness is sickness. I'm going to do it by myself. I can't count on anyone else. I certainly can't count on God. And so I'm just going to be sick in this state of faithlessness. It is like the house set upon straw. It seems to be quite solid and substantial in itself. Yet its stability cannot be judged apart from its foundation. If it rests on straw, there's no need to bar the door and lock the windows and make the fast bolts. There's no need to buy insurance if it's all built on straw. The wind will topple it, and the rain will come and carry it into the oblivion. Health insurance, there's no need to lock the doors if you haven't even built your foundation, your body, health, wellness, on anything that matters. You are being sold a bill of lies by the world, and the world condones it. What is the sense in seeking to be safe in what was made for danger and for fear? All of those things I just named, insurance, it was made for danger and for fear. Why burden it with further locks and chains and heavy anchors, when its weakness lies not in itself, but in the frailty of the little gap of nothingness whereon it stands? What can be safe that rests upon a shadow? Would you build your home upon what will collapse beneath a feather's weight? Your home is built upon your brother's health, upon his happiness, his sinlessness, and everything his father promised him. No secret promise you have made instead has shaken the foundation of his home. The winds will blow upon it and the rain will beat against it, but with no effect. The world will wash away, and yet his house will stand forever. For its strength lies not within itself alone. It is an ark of safety, resting on God's promise that his son is safe forever in himself. What gap can interpose itself between the safety of this shelter and its source? From here, the body can be seen as what it is, and neither less nor more in worth than the extent to which it can be used to liberate God's Son unto his home. And with this holy purpose is it made a home of holiness a little while, because it shares your Father's will with you. Okay, that's the end of that section. The next section moves us into chapter 29, and it's called The Awakening, right? And I'm like, haven't we awakened already? Oh no, just wait. It's coming. There's more coming. I have really enjoyed the lessons the last couple of days, or the last couple weeks, and actually right after going through the beautiful review, the review was so nice, and then going back into the dailies, it's just been these. For one thing, you the first 5 minutes of every hour, you're supposed to be trying to remember to just take a few minutes to ground, meditate, and think about the words that they're talking about. And so that's giving it a more. And the thing that's happened with me is what I'm finding is I'm not even going to the words that the lesson is teaching me. I've found myself just going to the words that I know in my heart. And I hear myself telling myself so often, I just love you. I just love you. This feels so good. I just love you. Everything is great and it feels so good and I just love you. And it's fascinating to hear those words just streaming in constantly, and how easy it is for them to stream in constantly, and to be able to know that you're in attunement with God, and God is literally saying to you nonstop in his tone, I love you. Everything's good. You're beautiful. You're a joy. All of these beautiful things that make you feel so good about yourself. This is the stuff that comes, and it's basically just a little bit of mind training to keep your mind from arguing with your ex-boyfriend, fighting with your kids, bitching at your boss, repeating the story over and over and over in your head again about the snafu that happened at the grocery store with the person that cut you off with their cart, or on the car ride over the person that you got exited off the wrong exit and they honked their horn at you, and you're just repeating that stuff over and over and over in your head. What is your mind saying to you? And what is God saying to you through that? And this morning's thing, the lesson for this morning, was really helpful in that thinking and kind of explaining a little bit of that to you. Lesson 96 says, salvation comes from my one self. Me. That's real. I am my salvation. I am the only one that can solve these problems. I am the only self that can go to God and give it all to God. I am the only self that can let go of the control to God. I'm the only self that can put the faith in God. I'm the only self that can change my mind with God's help. I'm the only self that can follow Christ's way. I'm the only, it's me. It's my salvation trying to get back into, not trying to get back, but to just ignore the crap that the world is telling me that is not true about my separation from God, basically. Although you are one self, you experience yourself as two, as both good and evil. The world is here to convince us that God has to experience good and evil. And there's a lot of great knowledge and understanding about why that story might have occurred and why we wanted that story to occur, so that we could be on the outside looking back at ourselves and recognizing that there was anything there to see, right? So the idea that you have to see evil to recognize good was in fact a learning experience. But because it wasn't real, it didn't mean that we were ever evil, or that we were ever, one was good and one was evil. It didn't mean it was real just because we experienced it in order to have the experience where we could look back on ourselves and go, oh, that's what we look like. Both good and evil, loving and hating, mind and body. This sense of being split into opposites induces feelings of acute and constant conflict and leads to frantic attempts to reconcile the contradictory aspects of this self-perception. You have sought many solutions and none of them has worked. This is like it's speaking directly to me about what I was thinking about this morning, what the mornings have been bringing to me about being in constant conflict. It's just like I'm still fighting with myself inside my head, but the opposite you see in you will never be compatible because only one exists. The fact that truth and illusion cannot be reconciled. It can't be both true and an illusion. That will never be reconciled. What means you use and where you see the problem must be accepted if you would be saved. Until you have accepted this, you will attempt an endless list of goals you cannot reach. I will never be enough. I will never get enough done. I am a constant failure because I've never reached the endless list of goals. That was it. It's an endless, why am I never going to be satisfied? Because it's an endless list of goals. The moment that I think about it, till the day you die, you are on an endless stream of things to do, an endless list of goals you cannot reach. You will always be a failure because you will never reach the end of the to-do list. That is massive to understand that. To understand that sense of how do I ever in this world reach actual satisfaction? How do I reach the end of the list? How do I get to the point where I understand that I've done it? I've done it all. I've done enough. It's all been done. A senseless series of expenditures of time and effort, hopefulness and doubt, each one as futile as the one before. Think about the to-do list you had a decade ago. You still have a to-do list. You had a to-do list that felt like the end of time to-do list a decade ago, 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. It just shifts. You never had enough money. You'll never have enough money. You never had enough friends. You'll never have enough friends. It's an endless list of dissatisfaction. It's an endless list of constantly trying to reach the end. Problems that have no meaning cannot be resolved within the framework they are set. Two selves in conflict could not be resolved, and good and evil have no meeting place. The self you made can never be yourself, nor can yourself be split in two, and still be what it is and must forever be. A mind and body cannot both exist. Make no attempt to reconcile the two, for one denies the other can be real. If you are physical, your mind is gone from your self-concept, and for it has no place in which it could be really a part of you. If you are spirit, then the body must be meaningless to your reality. Spirit makes use of a mind as a means to find its self-expression. I love that sentence. Spirit makes use of mind as a means to find its self-expression. It's looking back at itself. The mind says, let me look back at myself and see what I'm experiencing. And the mind, which serves the spirit, is at peace and filled with joy. The mind which serves the spirit is at peace and filled with joy. Its power comes from spirit, and it's fulfilling happily its function here. Why? Because the mind that's looking back on itself recognizes that it is not separate from itself and knows all that ever was within itself and all the experiences it's ever had. So it has the ability to do a true comparison. If there's any comparison to be done, it has a real ability to do comparison because it knows all, right? Me, I can't do a self-expression comparison because I don't know enough on my own with my mind. I can only connect with self-expression of the spirit to recognize what is it that God, the spirit, is trying to translate for me about this self-expression based on how it's compared to everything that ever existed. Yet mind can also see itself divorced from spirit and perceive itself within a body it confuses with itself. Without its function, then it has no peace, and happiness is alien to these thoughts. This is where you get locked into the unsatisfactory. I'm not going to be satisfactory enough because I am comparing myself to all the independent things that I can compare myself and making each one separate from itself. I'm going to compare my body to that body. I'm going to compare my ability to make things happen to that person's ability to make things happen. As we separate ourselves out into these entities, we create the conflict. We create somebody to be compared to. We're not in the whole of it all, understanding that, okay, I can look at what that version of me is doing, but recognize that's me doing all the versions of things, and how does it compare to me doing all the versions of me things over here? Yet mind apart from spirit cannot think. It has denied its source of strength and sees itself as helpless, limited, and weak. Dissociated from its function now, it thinks it's alone, separate, attacked by armies, massed against itself, and hiding in the body's frail support. It's being attacked, and the best thing that can protect it is my body. The place where it can come inside and for years, for me, manifest illness to protect itself. Manifest drama, manifest chaos to protect itself. Now must it reconcile unlike with like, for this is what it thinks that it is for. Waste no more time on this. Who can resolve senseless conflicts with a dream which a dream presents? What could the resolution mean in truth? What purpose could it serve? What is it for? Salvation cannot make illusions real, nor solve a problem that does not exist. Perhaps you hope it can, yet would you have God's plan for the release of his dear son bring pain to him and fail to set him free? This is funny because when the Course talks about all these things, it's basically like, well, you could do it that way, but it's going to be this, and why would you because of this? You know, it's like nonsense to even state this fact. But, I mean, you have the right, free choice, do what you want. Your self retains its thoughts, and they remain within your mind and in the mind of God. The Holy Spirit holds salvation in your mind and offers its way to the peace. Any second of any moment of any day that you choose to realign with the whole of who you are for even 1 second is enough to change it all. It's enough to give us all the salvation we're looking for. And God's like, I got this. It's all done. All you have to do is give me one tiny little smidgen at any second or any moment of the day, and I will give it all back to you. I will give it all back to you. And the more you give, the more you'll recognize, the more you'll see what he can give. Because his voice accepted it for you and answered in your name that it was done. Thus is salvation kept among the thoughts your self holds dear and cherishes for you. We will attempt today to find this thought, whose presence in your mind is guaranteed by him, who speaks to you from your one self. Our hourly 5-minute practicing will be a search for him within your mind. Salvation comes from this one self through him who is the bridge between your mind and it. Wait patiently and let him speak to you about yourself and what your mind can do. Restored to it and free to serve its will. Begin with this saying, salvation comes from my one self. Its thoughts are mine to use. Salvation comes from my one self, and its thoughts are mine to use. That spirit that is connected with everything, its thoughts are yours to use. Use them to your benefit. Go to them every single hour for 5 minutes if you can, even for a moment if you can, and say, show me what I need to know from the all that I am. Then seek its thoughts and claim them as your own. These are your own real thoughts you have denied, and let your mind go wandering in a world of dreams to find illusions in their place. So as we meandered all over space and time in these games and these worlds and these twister games and these Space Unlimited, whatever, the fact of the matter is that was all a dream. It was all an illusion, and none of it had anything to do with what was the reality. But God and the Holy Spirit knew it all, knew all the expressions of everything we had ever experienced, the good, the bad, whatever, but it knows from the beginning that it never was separate. It never was real, that it was an illusion of all of those things. And so that idea, these are your own real thoughts that you have denied, the positive thoughts that we can come into in that moment. We went and spent ourselves in this time of this game, and now we can come back. If you succeed, the thoughts you come to will tell you you are saved, that your mind has the foundation, the function that it sought to lose. Your self will welcome it and give it peace. Restored in strength, it will again flow out from spirit to the spirit in all things, created by the spirit as itself. Your mind will bless all things. Confusion done, you are restored, for you have found yourself. Your self knows that you cannot fail today. All the way back to the very beginning of this video when I said, I wake up in the morning and I can't imagine that I couldn't be a failure every day for the rest of my life till the end, because I'm on a constant need to fulfill an endless list of goals that will never end. And the fact of the matter is that the course is saying to go into your thoughts, where you then will be reminded, yourself knows that you cannot fail. You cannot fail. The pure existence of being here and getting a single thing or nothing even done is the success. No matter what anyone in the world says to you about what your success rate for the day was. No matter what grade you get, no matter how much money you make, no matter what your parents tell you, no matter what your children tell you, no matter what your boss tells you, it doesn't matter what anyone in the world tells you about how much you get done. The fact of the matter is that in you, the thoughts of salvation will remind you you cannot fail, and that whatever is there in the whole is there for you, and it's already been done. Be not dismayed by this. The joy your self experiences will be saved for you. and it will yet be yours in full awareness. So do not be afraid that it's not there for you when you go to get it, because it is 100% there for you. Every time you spend 5 minutes of the hour seeking him who joins your mind and self, you offer him another treasure to be kept for you. Of course, Esther Hicks, who channeled Abraham, used to always say, give yourself 17 seconds to think about the good. But that was like trying to create your mind, telling your mind what to think about rather than letting the thoughts come to you. What this is saying is that even if you give yourself 1 hour today, where you give yourself 5 minutes within that hour to think about these thoughts, these salvation thoughts that are inside you, that connect you with the whole, that there's an understanding of your whole, that there's peace, that you've done enough, that you can't fail, that you are the success that you are loved, that you are joy, that you are peace, that you are all of these things, that the problems are all solved, that you've made plenty of money, that everything is fine. If you can give yourself even 5 minutes today to do that, you will have given yourself enough to change everything. Each time today you tell your frantic mind salvation comes from your one self, you lay another treasure in your growing store, and all of it is given everyone who asks for it and will accept the gift. Think then how much is given unto you to give this day, that it be given to you. This is manifestation. And we create space and time that says we aren't going to get back in that moment immediately the 5 minutes that we gave to God. But there in heaven, wherever, in our treasure chest, is the gift being stored of the 5 minutes that we were willing to realign with God. And it's there for us, and it will come to us in a million ways. So what would happen if we gave it all to God? What would happen if we gave the first 5 minutes of every hour to God? What would happen if every thought that we, as we roll our grocery cart through the grocery store, is, I love you. 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 What if our mind actually stayed in alignment with God, and in the place that God can speak to us as we look at the world from the vision of the Holy Spirit, from Christ's vision of his brothers and sisters? What if we could do that even for 5 minutes every single day? Think about how minimal we have to even participate to get it all, to get the gifts that God is promising us. And they will come back in floods. The more you give, the more you get. It is that simple. This has been such a good day for me. I'm so grateful to have each and every day of this new experience of moving forward into whatever it is that's coming for me, all of the new opportunities, and the new opportunities for this world and what's happening in this world, and learning to let go of what this world tells me is right, because it's not right. What I can do is go inside my head for 5 minutes, quiet my mind, and let God tell me what's right, and then open my eyes up and move through the world without a care about what the world thinks about who I am or what I am, and only spending time in the love and the wellness that God has offered me as my purpose to participate in this lifetime. I love you all so much, and I cannot wait to see you again the next time I see you in purpose also, but in person. And I also hope that you will say something, give me a like, a replay, that you're here in the replay when you get on here. And if you're following me on here, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of other great things, and I'm looking forward to creating a lot more good content and things available for more community members as I really begin to develop this business. It's just Aislinn grows produce, participates in farm, and tells the stories of what it means to be Aislinn and planet Earth during this time period, from the experience of a 44-year-old woman and all the things I'm healing and dealing and loving and experiencing and seeing, and the perception that I have of the world, and what I can offer and share with you about that, and the gifts that I can give to you so that you can then share the gifts with your brothers and sisters. It's been a great opportunity to spend another day with you. I love you. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much, friends, for being my friends, and thank you so much for being here with me. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.